All right, and welcome back. Here we are in Chair League, going into our first game of the evening. We have on the left-hand side, I just forgot their name right away. Do It Right versus Admiral Akbar. Do It Right is going to be, I believe they picked the map, so Admiral Akbar is going to be picking first pick and first ban. They will be. Just so you know, Stukov is available. This is Chair League. So Stukov, per the email that I saw this morning, Stukov is a choice for the games. Maltheo will be, though, the first ban. I guess he is. I haven't looked into him enough, but I guess he is still very strong, even with the nerfs that did come into his kit. There are a lot of combinations that you can run into that make him just so strong. So it's still a viable first ban, and it's extremely helpful to just get rid of that insane damage that you don't want to deal with. Okay, and so on this side of Do It Right, I just don't know what you ban out, because I guess you could, if you don't want to deal with it, you can just get rid of the Dahaka. He's pretty strong on this map with the global ability he has. I'm just curious to see how Stukov and the changes to Anub'arak, as well as the changes to Tyrande too, and Zool, really affect how the meta will be shifting. But at this point, we're just gonna see Genji and Malthael being banned out here, two heroes that you just really don't want to deal with. All right, and so first pick. The Uther is still open. Nope, they're going to go ahead and just take the Dahaka right away. They're going to go ahead and just take that and say, you know what, we're going to take the global offense, and this is going to be ours. Right out of the gate, they're going to go ahead and get Uther right there. And combo it well, if they pick up a tank, honestly, they can pretty much go any direction with the draft at this point. They can pick up, Vala, Ariel, Gul'dan. Well, they don't need to. Excuse me, they have Uther. But they just have so much potential at that point where they can just pick up like two ranged assassins and a bruiser or something, or they can just pick up their Falstad and get a global on their side as well. So that's interesting. Strong first picks on the side of both well, actually for both teams. Dahaka being extremely strong on global maps, where global is such a presence on these maps because they are just so huge, as well as the Falstad just providing that the mobility that he gets, especially past post 16 with his. Oh man, I forget. I know Apex Predator for Dahaka, but I don't know what his is. Epic Mountain. There we go. Epic Mount for Falstad at 20. So I'm very interested, though, what you combo into this. I just don't know what synergies work with Stukov. Like, I feel like he's just a very melee-centric healer, so maybe a melee-centric. I'm just hoping someone picks him at this point. But it looks like Malfurion will be picked up on the side of Admiral Akbar with the Diablo, so we can probably see tongues into overpowers, into shadow charges, into roots. So there's a lot of CC on the side of Admiral Akbar. So I'm curious to see what they're going to respond with on the side of Do It Right. They can definitely hinder the assassin pool that would work well with their team. The Greymane, unless they're going to take it themselves, the Greymane would be a really strong ban here. Sorry, I just check messages. But last 20 seconds here, ban-wise, if they're not going to take it, they should ban out the Greymane, in my opinion. He's extremely strong, especially over team fights, but they're going to go ahead and actually ban out Jaina. I wonder if they see some sort of wombo combo coming into play, and so they're just going to say, you know what? No. Or they could have done homework and researched some of their teammates and said, you know what, this guy, I know him. He plays a pretty mean Jaina. Let's just get rid of that. So, a new Barak ban for Admiral Akbar. Fairly strong ban, actually, because of the fact that they don't actually have a tank on the side of Do It Right. I'm just trying to think, what do they go into at this point? The new Barak's gone, and he's not insanely powerful. I mean, he's still pretty decent as a tank, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a Stitches pickup here with a Greymane would be nice, because then you can combo the Uther, the hook stun from Uther into the burst that you get from Greymane once you hook. But we're actually going to have Zarya being picked up here, and she provides an extremely good poke on this map. With her, well, her right click, I believe, yeah, just her right click, where she can just launch those orbs and get insanely good poke. And speaking of poke, Lunara will be picked up on the side of Do It Right, and in my opinion, they're doing it right because Lunara is just devastating. I don't think Malfurion will be able to heal through the consistent poison damage that she can put out, and this is looking like a very fortified team on the side of Do It Right. The Uther with the Divine Shield, as well as just his high burst healing he can do, and then the Zarya shields that you get are gonna just be so useful to just counteract anything that they throw at them at this point. And here on the side of Admiral Akbar, they're gonna definitely need to pick up some big damage. A mage wouldn't be bad here with an asset like a melee, or like a Greymane and a Gul'dan would not be a bad idea here. I think that's what would round up the comp. Definitely those two. And it's completely not what I think it is. That is going to be Zagara Rexxar. Rexxar being able to lane so well by himself. And I think Misha can pick up the nuke for him. I think. I don't know that for sure. I don't play enough Rexxar because, well, I don't play it. Who plays enough Rexxar? Like, let's be realistically here. But we are going to have the last pickup for Do It Right. And it's going to be the ETC. I wonder if they're going to go Graviton Surge into Mosh. Because you can, at this point, you can take Divine Storm into Mosh, or, well, Divine Storm into Mosh, or even Divine Shield into Mosh. And so those work really well. I think that's what you would do. You just take Divine Shield into Mosh. And then you just throw some shielding also from Zarya so that any damage that's left over from the Divine Shield, you know, ETC just lives right through there. But we are going to be loading into our first map of the evening. On the left-hand side, we are going to have Do It Right with Ronan on Lunara, Lady Ronan on ETC, Tantrum on Zarya, Hannibal on Uther, and Iceman on Falstad. And on the right-hand side, we're going to have Admiral Akbar with Danger Search on Dahaka, Shubladu on Zagara, Drew Dogs 678 on Rexxar, Iran Bank on Diablo, or excuse me, my eyes are horrible. I read Iron Bank on Diablo, and Hidalgo on Malfurion. I guess I need a stronger prescription already, because the A's look like O's. All right. So, Warhead Junction being such an insanely large map, the Rexxar pick isn't bad at all. It's just he's not picked very often, so seeing him is just always a shock to me. Well, Zagara also is extremely good for this map too. She provides such a good ability to... She just gets so much vision. If she gets that vision spread throughout the entire map, it's going to be extremely hard for Do It Right to make rotations, you know, against Admiral Akbar, because if they don't have that ability to just rotate and not be seen, it's hard to obviously just make those rotations. Here we go. Little bit of a standoff. We're going to see Zagara go straight into bottom. She's not going to worry herself with the mid engagement, as well as Dahaka will be doing the same. So we're just going to see Soak right out front from Admiral Akbar. All right, and in this middle, we're just going to have the Rexxar actually with the Diablo Malfurion, and we'll have, well, it makes sense, the Dahaka on top. He'll be able to lane against this Lunara pretty easily, I would like to think. And then the Zagara in bottom against the Zarya and the Falstad, which that's going to be a pretty tough matchup on the side of Zagara. Especially with the fact that if she puts out any damage, it's just going to be feeding into Zarya's shield. So they're going to need to watch out for that. We did have Diablo go into that bottom lane, which is going to be really helpful for that Zagara. She's not going to need to deal with as many issues against that Falstad Zarya combination. In top, though, we are going to be having... Lunara is pushing this Dahaka around a little bit, but he's going to be able to pop his Essence and get straight out of there. We will see the double root onto the ETC and the Uther, but with the healing that they both have, he should be fine. Did he actually go... He went Prog Rock, too. Okay. So he's just going to become more and more tanky. And Dahaka is just not even worrying about this Lunara at this point. He is taking significant damage from her, but at the same time, he, well, he's going to pull her into the cannon shot range, and she will be falling here. So that was an overextension on the side of Lunara from do not do it right. And we will see the poor Misha is going to be falling, body blocked from... It was actually just running into the gate, which is kind of weird. But Dahaka will pop up right here, get a tongue right onto this Uther, who is a little too far forward, but the ETC slides forward. There will be a route from Malfurion onto the ETC. Meanwhile, though, there is the poke onto the Uther. Okay, so they are being separated at this point. Uther is going to be rotating down into his bottom lane. No, he's going to get another poke. He's going to stay with his... he's actually going to stay with the ETC, but Uther does not have a lot of mana at this point, so that is definitely something that they cannot be doing in this team fight. And let's just check in the bottom really quick. It looks like it was actually picked up right away for Admiral Akbar by the Zagara. And it also looked like it's going to be picked up by Hildago from Admiral Akbar as well. So 2 nukes going over to the red team at this point. They will actually stun out the Malfurion before he can cast this, so he's going to have to wait a couple more seconds before he gets that out again. Alright, and in bottom lane, we are going to be having the Zagara holding on to her nuke. She's just going to be... She can't really get too far forward yet with this Dahaka... Or, the Dahaka. Diablo so low on health. Checking into our top engage. We definitely see the Lunara playing a lot safer this time. She knows that anytime she gets close to him, he's going to be going for that tongue onto her. So she'll be playing the fun gate game. Looks like in bottom we do have the nuke coming off from Zagara. She did sneak around and get that out. Malfurion will be still holding onto his though right now. Alright, and it looks like he will be rotating into top lane to potentially get a pick, but he will be rotating through the vision, so Lunara does know he's coming, and she will be rotating into her gate. Oh... Nope. Oh, so Malfurion's actually going to get stunned out of it once again, and he potentially could be falling here. There is the route to slow them down. There is the tongue onto the ETC, and that will be Malfurion just barely making it out alive. In bottom, though, we are seeing that Zagara is getting pushed in, and this is what I was talking about with the creep right at the start of the match. She's not being able to spread it around enough because she's been locked down in this lane trying to counter push against this, so she can put her creep in areas where they're not going to be clearing it up, but with Zagara and being able to get out those orbs every few seconds, she can definitely clear up the creep, as well as Falstad too with his hammering. So this is it's a difficult time for Zagara right now, at least against the laning matchup she has. Maybe if they switched it up and they put the Rexxar in bottom with the Diablo and put the Zagara in mid, that might be a little bit more helpful, or they swap out the Dahaka. I don't know. I'm just trying to throw out some ideas, but that Zagara definitely needs to fill up her mana bar, because I believe the nuke should be popping quite soon. We're going to see this Malfurion rotating once again. Lunara didn't see him through... Oh, he's just going to walk straight up, and he wants to get rid of this nuke. There is the self-heal from the Malfurion. They do get the nuke out, and actually, right as that one goes out, there are going to be 4 more popping up across the map. 2 in mid, 1 in top, and 1 in bottom. And with that, we're going to see an aggressive positioning. Oh, never mind. The ETC is actually zoning this Rexar way. I was going to say the aggressive positioning from the Rexar looks like he was going to be coming into this bottom one over here to try and invade against the Falstad, but that is not going to be happening. Diablo will be trying to get a little bit of poke onto this with the Rexar. Meanwhile, in bottom, Zagara did get a nuke off, and in top, they actually got a nuke off from, I believe, Malfurion or Dahaka. So this will be one nuke, or excuse me, 2 nukes on the side of Do It Right. They are going to be converging onto the Zagara, who looks like she's panicking a little bit, trying to figure out which way. The hard time I don't think is long enough, or short enough. There is the stun. Zarya will be coming around, as well as ETC. She does have the speed increase on the creep, but the power slide from the ETC right there was just epic. And I think he took the increased range. Crowd Surfer. Or no, okay. So I don't know, maybe it just seemed like he went just a little bit too far there. But anyways, we're going to see Diablo actually rotating into top against this Lunar. We're going to have the Rexar still in mid, delaying that Uther from getting the nuke out, but in the bottom, we are going to see the nuke coming off from Falstad. There is the burrow from the Dahaka. Looks like he should be able to get out of this, but there is the Graviton Surge from the Zarya with a combo into the Hinterland Blast. So that is going to be, I believe it's 25 seconds per hero? Yeah. So that's going to be a 50-second cooldown, or just 50 seconds off of the cooldown. In late game, I mean, that Graviton Surge combination is going to be quite deadly. And, okay, so he took Stage Dive. I was wondering if he's going to go Mosh or Stage Dive, because if you moshed into the Graviton Surge, that might have a little bit of an anti-synergy. But we are going to see the Uther is a little bit out here. He will get the stun off and be able to rotate right into his gate. The Boars come out and poke him as well. Oh, right, and just taking a quick peek at some of these 10 talents a little bit. The Nidus Network from... Nope, never mind about the talents. We're going to see this Dahaka getting bullied from Do It Right. They're going to get stunned by the Apocalypse, though, and then they will be... Everyone gets away easy. We're going to have an Apocalypse ultimate burned here. We're actually see Twilight Dream, or excuse me, not Twilight Dream, Tranquility from the Malfurion, which is odd, because the Twilight Dream utility that you get just to lock down the enemy team and not be able to use a single ability or heal or anything during a team fight is so strong, especially with the 20 upgrade with the blink. So we'll see how the Tranquility. I never see it enough, so I don't even remember what it is half the time. But we definitely will see how that comes into play. In top, though, we are going to have the Dahaka getting Divine Stormed, and he will be falling. So that answers the question of Divine Shield or Divine Storm. Divine Storm this match. They're going to go for Stealth picks. And it looks like at this point, they're mostly rotating as a 4-man and putting their Zarya up against the Zagara in bottom. So that will be a nuke on the side of Do It Right, and a nuke on the side of Admiral Akbar. Unless this is just a trap and they're just gambiting them into, you know, thinking that they're going to let them get a couple forts and they get these picks and then they're just going to turn the game around. But that is going to be the first fort falling of the game. Definitely, they're definitely working a lot with the macro on this map, utilizing those nukes to definitely take down those structures rather than pushing in extremely hard. Zagara should be taking this fort in the bottom without a problem. The vision is there, so she should see that they're... Yep, and she sees it right away. She burns the nuke because I don't think she thinks she can get a lot... oh, she's just going to... Hearth right there? Oh no, Zagara! The hammering does go out, and she gets a couple basic attacks off, but that is a fort falling in the bottom lane. So even structures currently. A little bit of a kill on the advantage of Do It Right, but the Apocalypse does come out, does scout them out in that boss area. They are going to start to converge. Diablo will be just trying to confirm that top fort. So this will be a 4v5 at this point. Dahaka does come in from the backline, but that is a huge Graviton Surge. Almost 3 enemies hit, and that is going to be just a like 15-second, or it was like a 20-second cooldown on the Hinterland Blast. The stage dive into that Dahaka for the last one was just, you know, just comboing on comboing just to guarantee the kills. So this is going to be a boss picked up for Do It Right. We are going to have the Diablo rotating in here. He should be playing safe because he should see that with the creep. Okay. I was going to say, he should see on the creep that there are definitely too many people there for him to fight. So they're going to be giving up this fort here. That's guaranteed. The only thing they can really do is just kind of be present in the lanes and try and maybe just get a pick onto someone who's just a little too far forward. This Lunara is a little bit on the aggressive side, so Dahaka could get a tongue. She is extremely far forward. But I'm just looking at that Rexar. He was getting pretty low from that damage from Lunara. Almost half his health fell from just a little bit of a chase there. Misha will get the stun out onto the ETC. He will actually power slide a little bit too far, and he'll be behind the gate, and I don't think he can get out because he doesn't have another power slide. There is the root onto him. Does he have the stage dive? The stage dive is there, but he doesn't get it in time. There's the Graviton Surge. Where is the Hinterland Blast? It's actually in top lane currently, but there was a Divine Storm right after that. Diablo actually will Shadow Charge forward to get out to that Uther. He is quite far by himself. There is the Dahaka potential for the follow-up, but he's just too slow. He went the Tissue Region, I think, at once, so I don't think he has the extra Brush Stalker speed, but there is another Shadow Charge from Diablo, and this will confirm the kill onto Uther. And perfect timing, because this will give them at least 1 to 2 nukes. They can't, obviously, Falstad can't get the second, so they can converge over to this area. Falstad will just be getting this and probably getting out safe. Diablo does have another Shadow Charge, but he is far away from his teammates, and they do not have the follow-up to complete the kill. But they did get 2 out of the... Or maybe I missed it. Or no, they're still holding on to 1. Phew. I think only 3 spawn, and I saw that there's 4 on the team, so... Alright, we will have the first one, the second one, actually. We're going to have 2 going onto this fort in mid, so they're going to guarantee the fort with the 2 nukes that they got. This hard camp will be pushing up into top lane, and we will maybe see a small skirmish. No, it looks like we're going to have them spread back up. Dahaka...
follower detected.
Thank you. We will have the Diablo going into bottom lane, trying to just push back that a little bit, but at this point we can see Do It Right converging into that bottom lane, and because they do see the Diablo, they do see the other team in that top lane as well. So Zarya is here. We are having Uther. He's going to be... Diablo's playing extremely safe here, just rotating back into his keep, making sure that he doesn't get picked off here. The nuke is used. There is... Ooh, the power slide did not stun him out. There's a huge Apocalypse that stuns out just the Zarya. But it looks like at this point, with the enemy team in top lane, Do It Right's just going to say, you know what, we're going to get this keep. Zagara did Hearth back, and there will be 3 currently getting the boss. So... they tried to pull the team away, but they end up getting this boss anyways. And they need to play it really safe here. This is a 2v5 chase. So they're going to get the vision out. They're going to go ahead and get this camp. Meanwhile, Do It Right, they're going to go ahead and Hearth, get full. And it looks like they're going to definitely need to push back that top wave before anything else. So at this point... Admiral Ackbar, they're starting to kind of come alive themselves. They're definitely getting some of the lane pushing going. They are controlling some of these team fights a little bit, but they definitely have just to play extremely safe here. They do see the enemy team here, so they can take this camp. It's a little aggressive, but if they're counting members up against this boss, they can see that there's 5 health bars. So they know that there's no one going to come for them, and they steal that right away easy. And this is when... Zagara has the potential to really start to explode on the map with her creep. If she can just get the creep that she needs out and she starts to get those Nidus networks, you know, spawning all over the map, she becomes a real big threat. So I look to see for that, them trying to go for that, but we are going to have this engaged. She's already going to go ahead, get into the Nidus network, which just body blocks Zarya really quickly. She's going to go ahead and just pop right into top, which will put her in perfect position for that next nuke, which will be up in 10 seconds. Diablo rotate to mid, trying to get just a little bit more soak, trying to get them closer to 20, but we literally have the same amount of experience for both teams. The warheads have been spawned. There is very good aggressive positioning from Admiral Ackbar. They do get a lot of damage onto the CTC, who will have to back up, but Malfurion is taking a lot himself from that Lunara poison. There's the Graviton Surge. Excuse me, the Hinterland Blast hits 2 for a 50-second cooldown. the Falstad gets onto this Malfurion. The slow is there enough? The Hammering does come out and confirms the kill. Uther will be getting this nuke. Zagara will also be confirming a keep in top. And at this point, it is starting to look very dire for Admiral Ackbar. They were starting to get a little bit of swing and momentum in their favor, but at this point, with that huge wombo that they've been putting out with the Graviton Surge into the Hydralin Blast is just so strong. And then if they don't kill them, just to have the Divine Storm afterwards. Ooh, I was just watching Zarya just getting so low there. They do have to respond, though, in this top lane against this this camp, because it will be pushing up pretty heavily against them. And I did comment on the fact that they're losing their momentum, but at the same time, they did lose a couple members in that team fight, but they did guarantee a counter keep, which is going to be extremely helpful. But Zagara is going to get Hinterland blasted and actually be falling to the ETC, and Rexxar will be getting hit as well. So this is going to be a strong march for Do It Right onto the core right now, and this is a little worrisome. This is a 15 or so minute boss that's going to be walking up onto the core. You're missing 2 members of your team, and there is the route onto the ETC. The Shadow Charge from the Diablo. Falstad will have the barrel roll out. The Hammering does come out. There's a huge Divine Storm that locks down 3 members. They guarantee the kill onto the Diablo. One of the nukes is already out onto the core. The shields are starting to fall. The nuke takes out the rest. They get the Tranquility from Malfurion. Was not enough to keep both of them alive. They will be falling, and the GGs come out. That is the first good game of the evening. Alrighty, and welcome back to our second game of the evening. On the left-hand side, we have Do It Right versus Admiral Ackbar on the right-hand side. Did I say right twice? On the left, we have Do It Right. Maybe I said right twice. Who knows? All right, and going into this Tomb of the Spider Queen second game. First pick, first ban on the side of Do It Right. And I just always want to see, like, first pick Asmodea, but no one ever does it. Like, why would you? It doesn't make any sense. But he's just fun on this map. Nazibos as well is very strong, too. But they definitely want to... they're probably going to want to limit out the... They're going to want to try and draft something specific to them. So, you know, if they know that Uther's a hard counter, they're definitely going to want to go for that as a ban. Or, you know, since they do have first pick, first ban, one of the things that you want to try here is maybe just control the draft. If you want, let's say they want Uther, they'll ban out the Malthael or something. You know, if they know we don't want Malthael at all, we're going to go ahead and ban out the Genji. So maybe they're trying to pick up something specific so that if they're just like, you know what, we don't want this, but if you want it, you know, if you want this specific thing, you have to ban out so we can't get it. You know, it's a lot of mind games at this point. And having first draft is pretty strong, but at the same time, if you know that you're strong on Tomb of the Spider Queen, then you pick that map up, which Admiral Ackbar did. So, I want to know, though... So, Genji and Malthael are banned out again. So, it's the same bans we saw in the first game. But I want to see... I'm hoping that the... Nope, we're going to get the first pick Uther again. So they know that comp, it worked. That's what we're going to go for. All right. And then, so on the side of Admiral Ackbar, I was reading Twitch chat while we were setting up the lobby, and the one thing that I did see in there is you don't need 3 solo laners. And Twitch chat got that right. They definitely need to... They need to draft out something that is going to be well-versed for what they're going for. Do they want a lot of wave clear? Do they want a team fight? Do they want to play the macro game? Do they want to play the micro game? So it's a lot of this, you know, which do you want to go for? What's your overall goal besides just winning, you know? You want to try and control the map in a specific manner. So on this map, getting something like, you know, and I keep saying it, but it works so well because it's such a good combination. Just get your Ariel Gul'dan, especially on this map, or Kael'thas. Kael'thas does well is a fine heal or a fine assassin as well into the Malfurion. So This might just be player personal choice, but I would have thought that the Ariel might have been a bit of a stronger pickup because you can get a couple batteries with her. And what I was getting into with the Gul'dan is he has such a strong wave clear, and this map is so wave clear centric that I just want to know. Kael'thas does a very good job of that, but I want to know what they're going to be going into, what else they can get with that. Maybe another Diablo pick would help them. They can combo the Whirlwind from Kael'thas into the Malfurion roots. We'll see when we come back to that, though. Sylvanas and Johanna picked up here for Do It Right. And that's actually an interesting pickup. Sylvanas does a very good job of pushing up lanes. And then you combo that with the Spider Queen pushing up the wave as well. That's going to be a little bit difficult to deal with. Especially if you're going to be running this 4-man rotation, which we see on a lot of maps where you put, a strong solo laner in bottom, like Greymane or your Dahaka or Falstead or just any strong solo laner, and then you put them in that bottom lane, then you do a 4-man rotation between top and mid. That's because those are that's the shortest way, the shortest lane I think in the game. I think Blackheart's is pretty close, but I don't think it's as short between the rotations. And so just doing that between top and mid really quickly, just rotating, clearing, getting gems, and just playing that macro game where you're just going to soak experience, push up the spider wave, and that's definitely going to be the way you kind of take down those forts and start to open up the map. So Jaina's going to be banned out here, and the reason Jaina's banned out is that she is an extremely good wave clear on this map as well. If you can't really play Gul'dan, she is a strong mage who has good wave clear as well as good fighting potential. But we're actually going to see right away, without even me getting through the whole logic of Jaina, Do It Right is going to ban out the Diablo. So Admiral Akbar, they cannot get that Diablo pick that they had last game, which I was talking about comboing into the Kael'thas Malfurion. And then from there, I'm just curious what they're going to be going into here. The Rexxar play, it was pretty good, and you could solo lane with him. So if they just have someone who's good at Rexxar, he will do pretty decent on this map, especially in that bottom lane soloing. He would be very, very strong. And then they could just pair it up with... I mean, Thrall wouldn't be a bad choice to pair it up with that as well. We're going to have the Vala into a Stitches. This is going to be interesting. So the combo that I'm starting to kind of see develop is some sort of hook into Root or Whirlwind and then into a Root, and then they're going to pick up that Rain of Vengeance from Vala. That's going to be pretty strong. If they could execute that on the side of Admiral Akbar, it's going to be extremely strong. But they're going to try and counter that on the side of Do It Right with a Cassia. So the blinds out from Cassia are going to hinder that Vala pretty well. But the thing is, Cassia does have to get into that front line to get the blinds onto the back line. So won't be seeing the dive from that. But you never know. In a team fight, if someone gets peeled off, they're easily blinded, then they can be just picked apart by the way that Cassia can kind of just sustain through most fights, at least auto attack damage fights.
Here we go.
And all right, Do It Right's gonna go ahead and pick up Valeera. Holy crap! All right, so she'll be definitely picking on that Kael'thas. And that's where the Cassia getting into the backline is going to happen. Okay, so Valeera is going to be locking down the assassin in the backline. Because at this point, on the side of Admiral Akbar, they've got a lot of good damage. And this is a well put together comp, I think. I want to see what they're going to round it out with. A Tassadar wouldn't be bad to counter the Valeera so they can get the vision on her. And the shields on Vala, as well as the auto attacks that she provides, gives her healing with that life leash at 4. I would hope that it's a Tassadar. It's in my mind, Tassadar makes 100% just sense. But at the same time, you don't need to take it because the fact that you can take the Scouting Drone at 1 from Malfurion, which will hint of the Valeera. But I think just, you know, if you can't see her in the teams, there it is. All right, cool. That's what I wanted. Do what I want. Okay, perfect. You did what I wanted. So basically, anytime they say, I don't know where Valeera is, Tassadar hits D, they find out where Valeera is. Because she's probably, if you don't know where she is, and you don't see her on the minimap, and there's a team fight that's happening, she's definitely around. She's just waiting to get into that backline Kael'thas, Vala, even Malfurion too. Okay, and on the left-hand side, we have Do It Right with Ronan on Valeera, Lady Ronan on Sylvanas, Hannibal on Uther, Tantrum on Joanna, and Iceman on Cassia. On the right-hand side, we're going to have Admiral Akbar with Shabadoo on Kael'thas, Danger Search on Stitches, Drewdog on Vala, Hildago on Malfurion, and Iron Bank on Tassadar. Try to do that really quick at the last second there. Alright, and into this second match we go. So Kael'thas is going to be picking up Convection here, and that's what I was wondering. If he's going to be going for that Convection. Tassadar is actually going to be taking the Psychonic Storm at 1 instead of... He's going to take Psy Infusion. Okay. So they're going almost like full questing build on the side of Admiral Akbar. Alright, so... Laning matchup-wise, we're going to be seeing Tassadar versus the Sylvanas in bottom. And then I'm thinking we're going to have that 4-man rotation we talked about in draft happening. We're going to have Kael'thas getting a couple stacks right there from that scouting drone being destroyed. Meanwhile, I'm just waiting to see how this Valeera is going to be digging into the backline. Because you can already see the way that she's positioning away from the opposite team, how she works her way into that backline. So they're going to go straight onto the Stitches, lock them down. Kael'thas, ooh, that hook. Kael'thas is going to be getting a couple extra hits from there. We'll just be checking these. He's already at 6. So he's about a quarter of the way through his Convection stats. And they're doing exactly what I was talking about. They're making these rotations. And they're just saying, you know what? We'll fight you on the way. But, oh, the pull onto the Cassia, there is the bomb onto her, but she will be getting out just fine. And we are going to see, once again, this rotation happening. It's going to be just between top and mid. Take a quick pick at bottom, how that's going. Looks like Tassadar is going to be overall winning the lane at this point. The hook just barely misses. They will not be making any connection. At this point, this is a different team. This is not the team we saw in the first game. They are making these rotations at a very, very menacing pace, and it's gotten to the point where Do It Right isn't even making them anymore. They're just soaking all lanes. They're staying safe behind their gates, and they're laning when Admiral Akbar isn't in the lane. Kael'thas is pretty low here. He is going to need to go back quite soon, but he is almost about halfway through his Convection stack. So if he can hit all of those, he will definitely be doing a very if he can hit them before level 7, he's going to be in a very good spot for this game. But sorry, I was just about to say, where's Valeera? And I just saw the Tassadar die, so we are going to be seeing that in bottom lane. Valeera did sneak down there, and she will be getting picked onto the Tassadar. At this point, they will be pushing that up a little bit here, waiting for him to respawn any second. Stitches will miss his hook. But at this point, with that Tassadar dying, they are going to be losing quite a bit of gems. Looks like they've lost about 12 gems from that death. So the rotations here are very strong, but that Valeera pickoff was such a just necessary thing to happen. The hook does miss. We are seeing that Kael'thas does have half his stacks done at this point. Valeera is rotating for the body soak in mid. She can rotate into top and maybe try and find out where this Kael'thas is. She will be dashing out, so they do not want to have this fight. They will be turning in quite a few gems at this point on the side of Do It Right. And there's definitely going to be a strong advantage on their part. They've got about half their gems in, so they, you know, they don't need much more to finish that out. That Death of Tassadar just hindered them a little bit on the side of Admiral Ackbar, but we will probably see those gems coming right back up, no problem. Valeera at this point will be running back with that 4-man. Kael'thas will be getting another convection stack there. At this point, let's just check it really quick at 11. I'm just always so curious about how close they get, because it's always right around that 16 mark when a team goes, you know what, let's go kill Kael'thas, and then they go and kill the Kael'thas. And once you lose all those stacks, it gets to the point where I just always find that once a Kael'thas loses the initial stacks, it's very hard for them to actually, you know, get them back and get back into that momentum of hitting the flame strikes. But this low level is so much easier because there's not as much utility on the side of the do it right to get away from those, as well as, you know, team fight against that kind of stuff. And Tassadar once again will be picked off by the Valeera in this bottom lane. Right as I was rotating away from it, I was once again thinking, where's Valeera? So the interrupt from the Cassia will dismount them, but at this point, Tassadar didn't lose too many gems. And with those kills, we'll actually be seeing that since they're missing that soak in bottom, the push potential from Do It Right and the level advantage is starting to show. As well as in bottom, they're just letting this Tassadar Sylvanas thing just happen, and she is starting to really push against him, but there is the hook onto the Johanna. She uses her indestructible right away just to get away. Valeera is going to be sneaking into the stack line onto the Vala. She does take about half her health away. Vala does vault out with the Caltrop, so she cannot be followed. Well, she can, but she'll just take a little bit of damage. Tassadar is in bottom trying to de-push this. We'll take a peek really quick. Not much he can really do here. The the Cassia gets a significant amount of damage with that Fend into the Malfurion, as well as working down that gate. So at this point, there's a strong push in bottom and mid for Do It Right. And there is going to be this collapse from Admiral Ackbar. We do see a little bit of damage going into this Johanna, but there is a hook onto the Johanna. And with that, they will be able to just get right away, because Johanna, if you didn't know this, she lives through just about anything. Especially with that indestructible, if you're timing it out right. You know, if you have that sliver and then you hit your D, you get out right away. Sylvanas will be able to use the Haunting Wave, and it's going to get pulled back, and then it's going to be 13 gems falling for her. And Kael'thas is getting quite close to getting his convection stack. So at this point, we're going to see them rotating into mid, trying to get the last... Actually, they don't need any more. They're just waiting for the altars to spawn so they can turn in their gems. There's going to be another stack, and he should be one away. We should see that blue explosion underneath him, and I don't know if Do It Right has the ability to get into that backline, because they've been doing an extremely good job to protect him. There it is. The convection stacks are done. The spiders are coming down, and there's about a level disadvantage on the side of Admiral Ackbar, but they could make it up with this spider push. If they soak properly, this Valeera is a little far forward. Will she get scouted out? She doesn't have her 10 yet, and she is scouted out. Kael'thas does get the chase onto her, and at this point, they're chasing her so deep that it gives the ability for... they do lose the Valeera, but it also gives the ability for Do It Right to soak up their lanes. They can be a little aggressive with their soaking because they see that there's the 5-man in bottom chasing down the Valeera, so they can push up the waves, get some extra soak. Johanna will use her Destructible. She'll be able to walk right away, not even take a hook because of that invulnerability. And these, since they got that extra push, the spiders that just spawn, they spawn back very far, and they're not going to get as much utility as they need. Maybe a little bit of damage onto the gates, but not that much. And the way that the spiders, excuse me, there's an engagement happening up in top. We're actually going to see a flank from Do It Right onto Admiral Ackbar. They are going to have a huge Wailing Arrow, and that is going to be the death of Malfurion. Tassadar is so low here. There is a just snipe of a spear from Cassia onto that Tassadar, and we will also be seeing the Stitches falling there as well. So unfortunately, they do fall there. They get their 10s, but at the same time, that huge flank on the side of Do It Right was just such a surprise to Admiral Ackbar. I don't think they saw that rotation really. They didn't expect that rotation to happen. But with that, we are going to see they are on the same talent tier, so they are going to be rotating right back into this middle for an engagement. Kael'thas trying to get the lockdown onto that Johanna, but it's not going to be happening. They will save their fort, though. It is definitely the positive in the situation. Alright, and with that, just checking, I want to check into this level 1 Tassadar. He's about a sixth of the, if you want to do it by fraction, I guess he's like a sixth of the way through it. Or six tenths of the way through it. Not 1/6, that wouldn't make any sense. So then we are going to have this middle camp pushing up at this point. There are about 36 gems for Admiral Ackbar and 12 for Do It Right. And it looks like they will just be able to turn those right in and push up this wave a little bit. They are going to clear out this camp before all of that happens. Thank you. And with that, they are going to be able to... Actually, they're going to be pushing them back a little bit here. Do It Right is close to their 13s, but with that huge hook, the force wall and everything, they actually get the Divine Shield out immediately. So that is an 90-second cooldown that they don't have again. So if they get another hook like that, the force wall's got a shorter cooldown, so a huge shield actually from Johanna onto this front line, excuse me. But the Stitches actually uses his Putrid Bile, trying to get a hook and pull someone in is not going to be working out for them here. Valeera does get onto this Kael'thas. He is going to be taking a significant amount of health taken away from him, excuse me. Tranquility is used from the Malfurion, but Valeera... Oh my god, wow. It's just so... So I poo-pooed on it last match, the Tranquility. There's going to be a hook onto the Cassia. She will be running away, but she will actually be dying from the cannon shots. And then there is going to be a small route onto the Johanna, but she will be able to get away from this because, well, she's Johanna with an Uther. And actually, Tesla is going to be coming around for a flank. Expect to see a Force Wall coming out right there. The hook does not connect, and they will be able to disengage here pretty easily. But with that, there are enough gems on the side of Admiral Ackbar, so they can get a turn in here and really start to just push up their waves a little bit. The smart thing at this point, definitely they want to... Well, they should be getting their gems off of Kael'thas. Kael'thas will be trying to turn in during this time. He will get poked out by the Uther. So they know that they're trying to get their Kael'thas in here. Stitches is trying to body some of that poke. He will get the 30 out of his 31 in, so that is going to be Web Weavers on the side of Admiral Ackbar, which will push up their bottom wave. So it will save their keep. It'll definitely, they have their 13, so this isn't even talent tier, even level. So they definitely want to try and take a fight as soon as possible here. Vala's AFK in mid, unfortunately, so there's going to be the lightning ball from Cassia onto many of the members. The Fen does come out. The hook actually pulls her away into the Putrid Bile from the Stitches, but we are going to be seeing the Tassadar falling there, and Cassia will get a Fend onto him, and she does not chase. I was wondering if she's going to be chasing into that, but it will not be happening. Alright, and we are going to have Uther going back here up in top, as well as the Valeera. We should see Sylvanas clearing this out. Oh my god, she's so close to dying from that wave. Phew. Alright, some pings coming out here for an engagement, but it looks like they're going to be backing off without that Tassadar. Definitely a little bit risky, but we are going to see these waves getting pushed up and cleared out. Bottom is going to be taking... Maybe they could actually go for the fort here. They do see many of the members in top lane, so that minimap using their minimap to the best of their ability, they get this pushed into this fort. But at the same time, Do It Right is going to respond in kind by saying, you know what, your fort, this will be our fort. And with that, there is going to be a rotation. They're going to try and come in for the flank, just like Do It Right did onto them, but they are a little bit spread out here. There is the hook onto the Cassia. There is a root, and also the Rain of Vengeance. The Phoenix comes out, but there is the Valeera in the backline, gets the pick onto that Malfurion, and there it goes, the majority of their healing. So Tassadar does use his D. He does see that she is getting away. They can see her. That is what the little red dot above their head means. And at this point, Do It Right has about 40 gems. They don't have enough for a turn in here. Neither does Admiral Ackbar. They do get the hook onto Johanna. The Force Wall as well. She is out of abilities to keep herself alive. The D shield is out though, and she should be able to make it out fine? Okay. I was worried that the ball lightning is going to hit the Tassadar too many times there. And we're going to see a safe turn. Oh, we're just going to see them all Hearth on the side of Admiral Akbar. There's going to be this hard camp picked up for Do It Right. Same for Admiral Akbar. It looks like they're going to be picking up theirs as well. They know that their team's the enemy team's going to be in mid, trying to rotate and clear that out. The hook does come out, and it just barely misses that Uther. They will be pushing this wave up a little bit here, but with the picks that they got in the last couple fights, Do It Right is definitely having the experience advantage that they want, you know, with a talent tier as well. And this is going to be a rotation that wasn't really planned for on the side of Do It Right. I think they were posturing up for a pick, but with that, they said, you know what, we'll disengage. We're just going to, you know, lane up a little bit because our team wasn't there. And that actually gives a little bit of a breathing room for Admiral Akbar. They can definitely try and get closer to 16, get on that even talent tier. The Web Weavers are going to be coming into these lanes, but it is a very slow rotation, so they can work a little bit closer into those 16s. But Valeera looks like Valeera will be scouting out the team. They are going to be coming in for another one of these aggressive flanks. Look to see, oh, there goes the huge implode onto the Kael'thas. The ball lightning is already out. There is the peel onto their Malfurion, and looks like he's going to be rotating up into top. He will be falling to the Uther. And in mid, we are going to have them actually turning around. They will get... Nope. They're not. The Cassia, oh my god. With a literal sliver of health, they team wipe Admiral Akbar. So Do It Right take a commanding lead at this point in the game, with having the Web Weavers just now arriving into the gates. And this is not the place you want to be on the side of Admiral Akbar. It's a hard, literally a rock and a hard place at this point, because of the fact that you can't push into your waves, but you don't want to sit in your core. So, you know, you can throw out some abilities, zone out with a Phoenix, try and just get some damage and clear out with some of your ranged assassins like Kael'thas. But this is the part where it starts to really become difficult to hold the map. You know, you've lost your mid keep, so you've got catapults in mid pressing up. They will be just losing this keep, unfortunately. I thought they were going to save it. The hook onto the Uther is there. The slow from the Pulverize at 16. There is a Putrid Bile that is slowing down the team, but Stitches is away from his team, and Valeera walks up and gets the pick onto the Malfurion. And with that, they're going to have to disengage once again. And Stitches going in for a hook, pulling in the Joanna into the tower. And unfortunately, they're just not landing these hooks onto the people that they need them to land. Stitches is actually extremely far forward here, trying to zone them away a little bit, but his team was still healing up. So luckily, the Do It Right didn't turn around and just collapse on him, because that is the one thing you want to fear. And it looks like they're going to be taking boss. They do have the 20 advantage at this point. Double flame strike from Kael'thas. Valeera did get onto that KT in the back line, as well as the Vala, and this is going to melt Admiral Akbar. It looks like we are going to have a boss into core, or are they going to be just pushing into core at this point? All three keeps are down on the side of Admiral Akbar, and it looks like this is going to be a death march into the core. The roots are there to delay the time as much as they can. They just need to buy 25 seconds for their KT. They just need to get behind their gate. The Tranquility just come out, but Valeera locks them down, and there's going to be a staggered death, and this looks like the GGs are thrown out from the side of Do It Right. They're going to be collapsing onto this core. Tassadar will try and laser off this Cassia, but it's not going to be working out too well. The GGs are thrown out. The Tassadar will fall one more time. And that is going to be our first game of the evening, going over to Do It Right. Congratulations to them. And